to pressure with his early team fight. Chad can also join in these fights early. Love this play from Alliance, though. They're being sneaky with a smoke here, but they need to just win, basically win the first 15 minutes. If they lose lanes, it gets a lot harder to do that, but play with objectives at least. Although, here comes the stuns.
Hey. Looks like coming out with level 6s is going to be a bit of a head start for Alliance. Going to be chewing to get the first blood on this Leshrac, and perfect hero to have it on, too.
Yeah. Easily a nice rush into the bottle. Gonna feel great to just have that. Probably by the time you clear out one creep in the first creep wave. So you're gonna have that regen on hand. Again, the matchup for Chuen as well is pretty damn good. Up against the SF, Mirage. Shouldn't have the freest time. You're gonna have a lot more play on that Leshrac. And be able to threaten then. They're still trying to toy around here.
Another one potentially. Treant Protector, he's got Leech Seed leveled up. Needs a bit of a extra panic heal. We'll keep him alive. Ponlo and S4 off to a blitz start. Getting themselves that first kill with the disruption bubble and almost getting a second. What the hell's wrong with SF? Okay.
Yeah, he's just
worried for Mirage for a bit.
He's just twitching around, getting the blocks off. Gets a decent enough block. Has a very defended observer ward as well, just to ensure he's safe. But again, they need to kind of secure that strong start for Mirage. He needs to really play this lane well, because Chuen, with a few levels, is going to be able to hurl the damage back, threaten with a stun, and once the levels are in, threaten with the Edict onto the push. The early game, it doesn't look that easy for Hustlers on any of these lanes.
Yeah, for sure, and Devialama already in trouble, maybe losing his life to Hanskin. One more right click, yep. It's going to be the clockwork to pick one up. Thankfully, we have the split screen technology to catch all the action there. As that's going to be the second one for Alliance. They almost got themselves that third, if it was the Treant Protector to fall. Alliance are pretty happy with this early first minute, so already pushing towards the goal that they need. Just survive the laning stage, and you've already bought yourselves multiple minutes of Medusa extra farm.
Yep, able to build up. This is the one thing with the support Tinies. Well, it does need levels to be highly effective. Level 1 for Devialama in this lane is pretty atrocious. Whereas for Hanskin, just runs up with Battery Assault, you get a little Mystic Snake action on top, and just easily run these heroes down. So much more presence coming out here for Alliance early on. And for the Hustlers, it just goes back to that level 6 timing for Devialama. As long as he soaks EXP, you should still be pretty happy.
Bit of blocking action here with Hanskin already with the preemptive sentry. We'll instantly get rid of that. Keeping the easy camp open. Meanwhile, Ponlo and Angel contesting here with the pull. However, Centaur already going up with 13 CS early on here. I'm curious about this this Venge carry, because this is actually a hero that I really like to play as a carry. Of course, the build-up would be a bit different than going for Aghanims, which is kind of a must-have, but it would be something like, you know, Shadowblade / Silver Edge if it was the game where you needed it. Just build up on attack speed and having an extra crit on the sign and just right-clicking people down. Sanjin Yasha would be another instance for that. But just going for the Aghanims rush, most likely. Maybe a casual Yasha to increase your farming speed a bit. The hero does do a lot of right-click damage and does kind of rely on attack speed.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it does tie in with the SF. With the Dark Lord's presence, or presence of the Dark Lord, you do have a lot of minus armor kind of lined up here. And I do agree with you. As a carry, you do tend to go for those secondary items, the Yasha, the Dragon Lance, the Shadow Blades, which is not what you're working for here. And speaking of, Shad's caught out.
He does actually get the stun off onto S4, and Angel just got a couple punches in too. We'll keep the Venge alive, but it is a trade HP region here in both ends. And Devialama goes down to Charlie.
Boy. Oh, you can see his cams as well. Oh
yeah.
My god. Yeah, he is. He's not feeling it right now, Mr. Devialama.
I wasn't suspecting this lane to be this hard for Hustlers. Like, I thought that Medusa might be on the struggling end as soon as they get a couple levels and force out the Medusa. But right now, Medusa's just having a field trip.
Yeah, it's all down to Hanskin. He's just putting his body forward, he's copying the hits, he's playing really well with a Battery Assault and just dancing around him, not giving any angles out to the Hustlers. Trading a bit back and forth down here, Angel.
Got the living armor and the stick here, but Ponlo's gonna win this duel. One of the positives of having 2 points in Shadow Poison is you're very hard to 1v1. Shadow Fiend, Mirage. If he gets the long range raise, he's got enough movement speed to close in on Ponlo. Ponlo, does he die to the tower first? No. High fives the tower as he dies.
That is a lot of space coming out there for Chuen. He's allowed to just solo farm for quite some time. So overall, fairly happy here on the Alliance's end. It's a good kill to give on to Mirage, though. That is some much-needed gold for him. But with the lanes going the way they are for the Hustlers, like their top lane's not shaping up well, their bot lane's not shaping up too well as well, you do get concerned about that mid-game tempo. And just going back to that topic of safe lane Venge, on the Ag's rush on safe lane Venge just feels counterproductive because you're really, ideally as a carry Venge, you don't want to die. Not necessarily. You do want to do some right clicks, spam out the magic missile. The scaling damage in magic missile is huge as well.
Yeah, the shard
making moves top again, Devi.
Oh, Devi not in a very comfortable position. Gets the heal out from the living armor. And Alex, does he get the toss out? No, he doesn't. Could have maybe made a bit of a nifty play onto Hansken, maybe toss him under the tower, but Hansken also moves away. He knows he's most likely going to lose his own life if he extends a bit too far. The right move from Alex to just put his body on the line as his buddy's about to die because they might be able to turn it around, but no, there's no Tiny, and it's just the Violama Hansken. He's just toying around with his DP for now. He doesn't have the Medusa to help him out this deep in, and very difficult position here for the Clockwork.
Yeah, just a little bit too far forward. But again, you're buying so much free space here for Charlie to just farm. He's uncontested. He's getting that build-up he wants. He's going to be able to flash farm quite a fair bit faster than Shad will be if they manage to get these stacks up. Ponlo has been focused on getting more activity out, though, although there are some stacks in the triangle.
Yeah, they just forced out the Requiem as well. They know that this SF is kind of defenseless right now. Chuen was already forcing out aggression onto the Shadow Fiend. But now he's just going to have to sit back and watch as his tower is taking some free hits. Ponlo. Hansken here as well. The Lightning Storm, the slow is there. The Cog's going to trap him inside. Chuen to stun in to kill off Mirage. And we'll get a return kill. That was a post-mortem kill of the Hansken. Maybe another one here. Do they get the Lesh here? Lesh is very low, an Angel. Running right across the trees. Ponlo actually gets Mirage's Courier as well, which was right under the tower.
Yep. Manages to get some punishment, and a great little dive coming out from Alliance pays off in a big way. So much more activity. This is what I wanted to see from Alliance in Game 1. We saw a little bit more in Game 2, and now they're just all in. They're coordinating as a team. They're playing off the strength of Chuen on mid. They know their side lanes are holding steady. There's no threat with a DP solo and a Venge solo at this point, with how far behind Davai Lamin is, and just with the nature of the Venge, you can't afford to leave that lane alone. They've got much more room to play with, and they're using that room well. Again, they've managed to build some good stacks, although there is a sentry blocking that now from the Hustlers. But you've got that foundation to get the farm going.
Well, they got the Stampede at least for S4 to run straight out of the tower, but Shad is still full HP, and S4 takes a bit of a beating into Violama. At least he's got the levels to fight back this time with the Siphon points. Alex looking for the toss play. He's found the Medusa. Medusa very low in mana too, but runs out of mana. He can't actually get the toss off.
Yeah.
Alex, you toss
One of those things for the Tiny. Yeah. Tosser without the toss. Davai Lama, though, not safe here.
Yeah, no, he's definitely dead. Leshrac is here. And Chuen slowly burning down Alex. It's the kill for Charlie, too, on the Medusa.
Yeah, they're getting that start. Alliance, full gear up, playing with her strengths. Really good rune control from Chuen. He's allowed to pick up the haste, gets a good rotation out. Mirage just trying to farm. He's playing much more passive on mid. That's the issue for D2 Hustlers right now. Every lane just feels passive. Like, the only active lane is maybe the Violamas, where they're trying to be aggressive there on their end, but beyond that, it's just farming, trying to get something in. That's something Alliance will enjoy, because Chuen is the one factor that can be active. The supports can just collapse onto that point while still maintaining these stacks in the jungle. And once those stacks are cleared up, you're going to have that early time in Deuce. Deuce is not really an ultra late game hero as well in terms of build-up. Like, once you have Manta style and just one ultimate orb, you're kind of set to go.
There's a lot of dollar signs on the eyes of Charlie. With multiple stacks to farm. And I was actually looking at these West European stacking numbers. Like, the highest average, I think, was like 13 stacks per game. When NA Div 1, the highest stacking number was 6 or 7. So it was like very, very low numbers. Like, these are double numbers. Huge amounts of stacks being made here as well. And all into the arms of the Medusa. Maybe Lesh can jump in on one or two.
Yeah, I think it's just a different in style, right? Like, NA tends to love aggression a lot more. Just tends to be more rumbly and fighty.
Yeah. Online
Rambula. Forward here. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you do have a lot of Filipinos there, you know? Phil Amps represent, Phil Canadians represent. Yeah. So it does tend to devolve into that. Still, they should be able to push. They are grouping around this exo timing now. Even Shad shows up. They should be able to find an objective for themselves.
Opening up this top tier 1 tower at least moves the Medusa towards the triangle and the bottom half of the map. And Hustlers still have their bot T1, but do they have their mid T1 is a big question, because they do have an SD tossed right on top of Mirage for the Requiem. One shot.
It's not the biggest kill, but you're feeding into Mirage. Again, you're trying to get that build up. The one thing with S4 trying to push with the Retaliate is leveling armor does kind of negate quite a fair bit of that damage, but you are maxed out now, and Chuen does show up to help. So they'll even out the map control. They maintain that 2k lead on Alliance, and they're just building up in Charlie. Like, he's not under pressure. There is a forward ward now watching from the side of Hustlers, but they haven't managed to take control of that triangle. To be fair, the Ancient Sentry is still up. No D wards coming out yet, although Ponlo will drop one now. You can kind of start stacking up more. My issue still for Hustlers, like, you compare their cores, they're not ready to play. Like, Chuen's ready, even without the full Bloodstone. He just knows he's at that leveled spike. S4 can always contribute with a Stampede, and has his Vanguard if he does need to show himself forward. Whereas for Hustlers, you're farming on SF, you're farming on Venge, you're farming on DP, although Llama has the mech. That could be the play for them, but...
He's gonna look for the hook shot. We'll get the connection onto Mirage as Chuen will only focus taking down the tower, and the tower's in deny range right now, so Angel gets to heal it up. Didn't actually finish the objective. There was so many TPs coming in that they had to back themselves away. I was just kind of thinking about, like, one of the things this Leshrac gives for the Alliance draft versus the Treant Protector. He doesn't care about overgrowth. He doesn't care about living armor, because you're doing pure damage to buildings anyway. And it basically just doesn't feel like the Treant does anything versus the Leshrac.
Yeah, I mean, you can pin him down, at least, and try to burst him, but it just goes back to this draft not exactly having burst damage on hand. Once that Bloodstone's up, he can just sustain himself in Chuen, and you always have the save coming out from Ponlo anyway, without disruption, as we talked about on panel. So, for Hustlers, I don't see this game getting any easier. The mid-game spike can be nice. Maybe when Shad has Axe, I honestly don't believe Revenge Axe is going to do as much on the carry. You need more items on top of it. So I'm wondering what else comes out here.
Like, do you just go for, like... I don't think the Silver Edge is a path, but you do need to amp up on right-click with the minus armor and the high right-click damage output that you have. So it could just be Axe into Shard, like just spamming out missiles and working on the magical damage side.
Well, it is my one joy with Venge. Honestly, that Ags Shard is really funny. And you hit your level 20-25. It's so much damage, dude. But that is level 20. And the game has to drag on there. We'll see if the Hustlers can hit that spike and get that farm on Shad to get more beyond the Ags. Butterfly is spicy. Yep. I would prefer something like a Yasha. You know, Dragonlance, maybe Dragonlance Shadowblade instead.
Oh,
that sounds safer.
That's a bit of a miss. They were pretty sure that Medusa's going to be around this area, because they took down the tier 1 some time ago. They forced out the attention away from mid, so they're like, yeah, Medusa's definitely here in the triangle. There's no one here. There's no stacks left either. It's a bit of a missed smoke and a lot of time spent. Well, Charlie has just returned to the triangle to farm some more.
Great timings out from Alliance. Great read out as well. He's at the Dragonlance Yasha here. Pretty set.
There's an Invis rune about to expire, but that could have been an action rune on top of Leshrac blowing up. I like the idea. Sadly, no rune.
You know, it's a little bit tougher. Get that. And Alliance still grouping up for that mid. I mean, it's been healed up a bit, but 380 HP is still a sneeze for Alliance to clear out. You should be able to find that objective. Question is whether or not Hustlers want to force that fight out here.
Yeah, and also the downside is having this tiny support. With no farm, really, Hanskin does get the cogs with the hook shot, holding Shad on the spot, but this clock's going to start taking a lot of damage here. With that magic missile, Crypt Swarm, that's technically 50% of his HP pool, and another kill for Hustlers, and they do have an Exorcism available. It is level 1, but it is something. They're going to use it. Force a fight versus 4 versus Alliance, but minding you, that is a 8.5k net worth Medusa who actually can fight. They will keep the Hustlers on their feet here. Mirage forced away. Exorcism doesn't do a lot. We'll keep their tower up. And Alliance, they've got their 5 heroes alive. Clockwork TPing into the outpost. He's got hookshot in a few seconds, I believe. He could be able to rejoin the fight. Yep, 10 seconds. He's going to be up as well. They could just catch the Violama. Maybe smoke wrap around. Yes, sir. Hustlers gonna have to get ready for round number 2. Angel inside the cogs, the stun straight on top. The Clockwork swap safe coming out as well. Hanskin down, hookshot stun does still go out. The overgrowth is coming out as well. And to the Requiem, the lockdown is there. S4 barely 1 HP. Ponlo coming in with a bubble as well, but they're gonna be taking down S4. And Alliance, they're in shambles right now as they cannot hold this fight. They've taken down the tower with the help of the catapult, but Alex moving in for the toss onto the arms of Mirage. And Mirage is right there. The Medusa mana pool slowly but surely drained out. Alex will go down. Chewin finding them back. The stun does connect, and there's the bloodstone. The heal is there. He's got a lot of mana. And Hustlers, they're gonna have to bail this one. They can't get more kills out though.
Yeah, they just couldn't. And they find a couple of good ones, but they still lose their objective. Alliance still a successful push in the end. They're only really dropping Hanskin, which it's not the biggest deal in the world. And you're just so big right now on Charlie. Again, Charlie's early timings aren't that long into the game. You just need Manta Style plus Dragonlance. You're pretty well set up.
Remember game 2, Alliance had 5 odds. It's 1.22.
Yeah, that has flipped super hard in esportsbet.io. That's a rough go for the D2 Hustlers, but game 2 looked, I don't know, it just looked like an entirely different team in comparison to game 1.
Yeah.
And in this game, it's maybe a little bit more even. I am greatly concerned for how farm Charlie is for D2 Hustlers. Alliance are going to be very happy with his build, of course. Just allowed to free farm the Ancients.
16 stacks versus 2.
Yep. And you've got the Dusa. You know, you want to maximize that. You've got the Shadow Demon who can multi-stack, Clockwork who you can time with a Rocket Flare as well, but Hanskin's just been running up and getting some stacks going. And there's just no contest right now from the Hustlers. Angel could be in danger.
Still waiting to see what the Carry Venge can offer onto the table right now. That is the last net worth core, sitting at 6.8. Medusa at 10.4. They've really enabled Charlie in this game. Laning stage went better than expected. And then the follow-up into farming stacks. Hero, he's basically he's been unkilled this game. Doesn't feel like he's been contested either. There was that one good spoke from Hustlers, but they couldn't find the Medusa at that time. And by the time that they left the area, that's when the Medusa finally arrived to farm. So that will come to haunt Hustlers.
Oh yeah. I mean, will it really haunt them though? Because, you know, they didn't know that it was instantly farmed afterwards. So hey, what you don't know doesn't hurt you there.
That's also true. Knowledge equals pain.
Alliance are smoking up here. Everything's ready to go. And for the Hustlers, again, this lineup just feels like it needs so much. You've got the Ags up in Shad, but ideally you just don't die in Venge, so we'll have to see.
Start for the fight here. They're not going to make it on time to rescue the Violama. They will try their best to at least reposition and regroup. They do get a 3-man overgrowth, but that is also a DD Medusa. Illusion nicely timed there with the Manta to kind of dispel the fear. He did get fear for a second, but he already cast the item on, I think, on the same frame. Oh, wait, it was actually the SD shard. Never mind. So that explains. That explains. Thank you, Observer. For a moment, I was like, did they use the time frame at the same time for the Manta to actually purge it off? But it was the SD with the shard. And now into the Roche Pit they go.
Yeah, DD Dusa doesn't take too long to melt this true. 7k lead for Alliance. T2 Hustlers severely behind, but Alliance looking good to get their first series win here. Again, if you think about this team, if you think about the teams Alliance has lost to, they are up there. They find Ponlo, but it's a Shadow Demon. You don't care too much about that. Not the highest net worth here to gun down for.
Might as well say that you
showing that improvement.
Traded Ponlo for an Aegis, so I think they will take that trade anytime, even if that was avoidable. They are at least getting a bit of a push into mid with Alliance backing away, splitting the map, pushing out lanes. Top tier 1 is taking some damage as well, but they will lose the mid tower as a trade. And Tiny finally has Blink at 20 minutes. It's a slow Blink, but it's a Blink nevertheless.
You've got some play now. You've got some initiation. You've got some toss back plays. There's a lot of repositioning that can come out here from the Hustlers. With the toss back, with the swaps, you can get some pretty ridiculous positions out here. And they are working their way towards the Vent Shard now as well for Shad. So he is basically almost like an off-lane build now. Just
they're in trouble if they connect.
And Shard. Smoke up here though.
They're very close to connecting on top of him. Alex, he might just be the one to tank the gank. But they are pretty deep in on their side of the tree line. Protecting Mirage. Both supports around the Shadow Fiend, but Alliance, they're sticking around for a bit longer. Not to find a kill, though.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Might have to protect the tier 2 tower.
Control of that bot jungle. They've got a good hold on the bot jungle. They've got a good hold on the bot tier 2. They're pressuring in with Chuan. And the side of Hustlers are just trying to get their own push going up top. Venge pushing solo, not quite the quickest. You do have Exo ready on Devi if you want to go for it, but there's more than enough time to just TP back here, and Chuan does opt to do that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Now the smoke up from Hustlers, straight from the top lane into mid. Want to get a quick move out on the map, which is it's a smart call to do. They've just been spotted in the top lane, so if they can get there in time, might be able to surprise someone. But unfortunately, Alliance, they're just splitting bottom and top at the same time, so they're drawing some arrows on the map. The Llama leading the troops. Sadly, there's no one here. At least they
Leads
get the
coming out
regain.
from Alliance have been so on point. I mean, they get some control back in the bot jungle, but you're missing out on these kills on a momentum-based lineup. It doesn't feel great for Hustlers, whereas you've got the scaling going on for Charlie, really good scaling coming out from Chuan as well. Like, their timings just get better and better as this game stalls out. This is not in the favor of Hustlers at all.
Shad. Oh, that's a close one. It gets revealed by the rocket flare, but he's going to be out of there now. This tier 1 in top will be cleared out. Are spreading towards mid. Maybe Hustlers are going to get themselves an opening here if this Leshrac is away from the fight. They just need to get there right away. But Lesh is already regrouping. Not too far away. They get the jump on Hanskin. It's going to be the clockwork opener. That is a kill they will secure.
Not the big kill they'd want, but you take what you can get. And they did kind of reveal that smoke with Shad coming in to clear out the creep wave. So maybe could have found a few more stragglers if they didn't quite preemptively reveal, but they find something. You still have this massive Medusa question. Scotty fully up on Charlie. He's really set. S4 is super durable now, working onto the halberd now as well. Great answer to deal with Mirage and his physical output. And it just feels like a ticking time bomb. Like, Alliance just build up and build up and build up, and if Hustlers just don't manage to isolate this Dusa somehow, start getting some pickoffs, then there's just no solution in the late game with this kind of lineup.
It is definitely grim. I can see a way for Hustlers to win these fights, and that is basically the Venge just having double magic missiles, and this Shadow Fiend can punch for a lot of damage. It's just killing everybody else first and then leaving Medusa for last. That's unfortunate, but that's the way that they have to do it. Someone's going to have to sack their lives so that this Medusa is drawn elsewhere. It's kind of like in those games where you have Bristleback. You know someone is going to die, but you're going to get something for the trade.
Yeah, pretty much. I think my one issue is that the time for the bench to do that well is like level 20. Or like -2 magic missile
Still
cooldown
something
and
away.
200 damage. Like, it's way too far.
Yeah.
And S4 gets some revenge. He finds Alex's courier. There you go.
Yeah,
Kills the
S4
courier,
getting some
killer's
vengeance.
courier.
All the lost couriers on the side of Alliance. The Valkyries on their side picking up a couple. 9k lead for Alliance here, 25 minutes in, and Medusa. Daedalus is coming up for Charlie, and that is surely going to be a devastating damage dealer on the side. The Treant just can't handle that much damage. The Tiny, whenever he goes in, if he's not getting the Medusa first, the moment he blinks in, he's already going to take 50% of his HP pool in like less than 2 seconds.
It's looking grim. Alliance, though, props to them. They're playing super well. They've been avoiding a lot of these smoke ganks. They've been farming efficiently across pretty much all their cores. Even S4 is doing a lot better than Divide Llama, and he's been a lot more active as well. So they've just managed to find themselves this really solid position. Daedalus coming out for Charlie next. Crystallis already up. And again, this is one of the games where, you know, not much is going to happen for quite a fair bit of time, but that's exactly what Alliance will want. Now, you can't fault them for just sitting back farming, because it will always favor them with Medusa. And for the side of the Hustlers, you could argue, yes, maybe, you know, you're working towards your level 20 timing for Shad. Still a ways off from that, though. And it's full Silver Edge up in Mirage. There is some
reachable.
output on the SF now. It is reachable. It's just, it feels like every single time you're reaching for that level 20, this Medusa gains, what, 2k, 3k, 4k gold as time goes on towards that 20 timing.
There's a 7k difference between the two cores, and they're going to be catching up Mirage. Hook shot into the stun from Chewin, and with the Stampede. Now Mirage does get the Hurricane Pike, but he doesn't get the Requiem because there is a hasted up clockwork from the Stampede running on top of it with the Battery Assault, so your ulti is cancelled out. No survival. And they find Alex on top of that too. That goes for Charlie. 2 quick kills. SF doesn't want to be in this situation. He is going to need that damage back up from Shad at some point of the game, but getting caught like that, there's just no fight for Hustlers.
That was really impressive coming out from Alliance. They fortify to allow Chuen to TP in. They see the Force Staff, the Hurricane Pike out, and Hanskin manages to get that hook blind. Like, he just finds the position right on top, gets the perfect use of that hook shot. And they might be able to find more. Shad's just farming solo up here. They're kind of surrounding. Could go for the kill, but they got opt for the D-wards instead. And 9 to 12, 12k lead for Alliance. That time you talked about for them to come back here on
Oh,
Huskers.
there's going to be the fight happening though. They go for the hook shot onto Divine Llama. The overgrowth does connect onto 3. Charlie in the middle already with the gaze. That will force Hustlers to reset. Oh, they stunned off the Shadow Fiend. Oh no, Mirage. Oh, what a horrible way to begin that fight as well. Shad is gone instantly. They can't take a fight like that. There is no way you can take a fight like that. And Alex being chased up by S4. He's just running tipsy-topsy right on top of this Tiny and taking down 4 heroes with the cost of the supports from Alliance, but with every core alive.
Radiant's top tower is under
Oh, SF. What happened to Mirage there?
fortified.
Just at the wrong spot at the wrong time. And Alliance, off the back of those kills, easily go for that push coming out here.
So does
can take a look
S4 do
again.
something that we missed out? Okay, so he's moving around here uninterrupted. Charlie pops. No, so SF is completely just ignored in that fight. There's no stun, no whatever. He stunned himself.
No.
Watching into the eyes of the Medusa.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, just at the wrong spot at the wrong time. And Alliance, I don't see any way for them to lose this game. For the Hustlers, it just goes back to having this core Venge. I believe the idea is just having your win condition come out from Mirage, because you're always giving him this SF. You're giving him this here that can scale, theoretically. We haven't seen it yet.
Ooh.
Alliance, another smoke out here.
6%.
Yep.
6%ers out there. This is
Nope. Not me.
S4 goes in for the stun on 2. Stampede, hook shot onto his teammate. Doesn't matter. Requiem is on the back lines. But Shad is down. His illusion's going to be falling suit as well. Alex going to get ulted up too, and they just can't survive. Alliance running them over one by one. The flags, the Alliance flags, they are hoisted up. The flag bearers have returned once again.
Dire's bottom tower
And that's one thing I wanted to mention as well in game 2. I saw my friend Sinya in chat cheering on the Alliance squad,
There's Sinya
giving them
buff.
energy, and yeah, they've buffed them up, and the cheering's worked. Alliance, they're feeling that groove now. And the power of team spirit coming out. Not that team spirit. Team spirit.
Interesting, but yes, I totally agree with you on that one. Alliance have they found their form. They found that grit. Maybe it was missing from the first 2 series. They did play against some of the toughest teams basically Division 2 had to offer. And like we said, Hustlers was next stop on line. They have recovered nicely from game number 1. Still, Hustlers, they do have a very small chance. But is it going to start from here? That is a Bloodstone heal on top of Chuan, and he's just surviving. BKB as well. Hustlers losing 1, 2. That's going to be 3 with the Violama. And I believe we are looking at the end of the game here. It's just too much to deal with. Alex, he's going to get the TP back home for a little bit longer, but that's going to be Alliance heading straight for the push down mid.
Yeah, they've got the opening. And the side of Husserus, it almost feels like Shad baited him in. Gets the swap in Chuan. He survives. The rest of his team dies. And he gets to run off. Like, you know, it always feels terrible when you play the Venge.
Yep.
And that happens. Like, oh, timeout. I'm sorry, guys. Not the target I wanted to swap. And this push isn't going to take too long coming out from Alliance here.
That was the damage that they had. And they weren't able to take down the lesson from there. It's just hejsan allihopa. As Alliance, they take down the mid racks. They head straight for another lane. They can clear out Megas. Top lane is open. No tier 2 tower.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Even with the respawns up, it feels next to impossible unless they get this like perfect Requiem swap kind of play.
He doesn't have the souls either.
Yeah. No, not
Downside
even
of
burst
defending
damage
as a
from that.
Shadow Fiend after a lost fight, you don't have the souls, so he's gonna have to reveal himself, farm them up, but right now, he's just sitting at the back. Hook shot from Hanskin onto the front line. Charlie already taking down Shad for the first time. Tiny down, he's got buyback, and he will be returning into the fray. As Hanskin falls, Age is still up on the Medusa for another 3 minutes. He's the man to dodge out the stun coming in from Shad. So with the glyph, they will force them away. The buyback used. Alliance, they can chill for a little bit. Wait for Stampede and Hookshot to come back up again. Rinse and repeat.
Yep. They've got a lot of time. 26k up. Still 3 minutes. 2 minutes 40 on that Aegis. Going for the butterfly. Fully bought out for Charlie. So he's set. He's fully slotted up now on the Dusa. And the side of D2 Hustlers, we've got to see that execution kick in. We've got to see the coordination somehow. Maybe get a couple of those BKBs up. Mirage is still struggling to finish his up. And Shad is still saving up for his as well. It's a long ways off until you have that durability up front to last through the damage Chuan is just feeding out here. On the side of Alliance, there's really just no stopping them. Like it feels like it's been this way for at least 20 minutes in the game now, where they've just been in such a strong winning position.
Since Charlie was able to get those first stacks,
Oh,
but hey, that's the
swap, toss
perfect
back.
target. Perfect target to go for, but Charlie in the back. Alex still trying to get the best out of the situation, but you still got to think that's still an Aegis you have to fight against, and Charlie, he is unfazed. He's fine with what just happened. Just battling them back. The Biolama heavy hits S4 again. Beautiful 2-man stun. And that should be cleaning house as they look for the Biolama. They'll clear out Shad's illusion. He comes in with the buyback. Treant as well. Alliance, they spent a lot of resources for this, but they also get a lot for it. Charlie forced in. Just pushing away the remains of the Hustlers.
Oh boy.
The noose is tightened.
I mean, they tried for the play, right? Like, that was swap toss back. Nearly into the fountain. Not quite there, unfortunately. That was probably their best bet. Like, find 2 kills in the fountain and just try to rinse and repeat several times over.
Cheers on the side of Alliance as the
They
GG call comes out from Davai Lama. And that is Dota 2 Hustlers with their first series loss in Division 2.